Alright guys, today we're going to be doing an oil change on the 2020 F-150. Got the 5-liter motor in there. This is what I use. I use what the manufacturer calls for. Not that I normally would, but since the truck is still under warranty, I'm just going to use what the manual says. Anything comes up down the line, motor goes bad or blows up, I don't need them giving me a hard time when it comes to the warranty. Also using the filter that they recommend. That's the number right there. Last time I did the oil change on this truck, I was looking through the forums and everyone talked about this Ronin drain plug. So this is the old one here, and it is a piece of junk. This is going to be my first time changing the oil with the Ronin in there, and apparently this is the drain key, so I'm going to see how that works. But anyway, standard procedure. First of all, pop your hood. Hood latch is down here. Alright, we got the hood open. Just gonna make sure we can get the oil cap off. Sometimes they get stuck. You gotta get your channel locks on there to get them off, but nope, this one's good. Comes right off. Now this truck sits pretty high up. Last time I did the oil change, I didn't even have to jack it, so I'm gonna do that again. Make life a little bit easier. Alright guys, here's my Ronin drain plug. Let's see if this will just come off of me, turn it with my hands. Nope. I'll go get the channel locks on that guy. Alright guys, I took my channel locks and of course just put it on the gold part over here. We don't want to put it on the black part. Then you're going to take the whole entire plug out. So I'm going to turn this and get this out. Alright, as you can see, I got that out. Now I'm going to put in that oil drain key. Here's the oil drain key, and I'm just going to tighten that up. And I'm going to assume oil's going to come out. There we go. And look at that. It goes right over the sway bar. I'm sure it's going to hit it eventually when the oil level gets low, but that's okay. It's a lot better than the cheap plastic plug that Ford uses from the factory. Alright guys, so while the oil's draining, I get impatient. And I'm going to go, and I'm going to take the oil filter off while that's doing now. I got 2 drain pans over here, so it'll make life a little bit easier. And the oil filter on the 5-liter is right there. Right next to the crank. Alright, then I'm going to take my oil filter removal wrench, and I'm just going to get a good grip on there. Loosen that up. There we go. Once you get to a certain point, you'll be able to get it off by hand. Yep. Here we go. Now, make sure you have your pan a little bit back, and that's where the oil comes out of when you take the filter off, just to prevent making a mess. I know I usually make a mess every time. And like I said, make a mess every time. Take the filter off, and you got oil coming out the back, out the front. No big deal. Here's our old filter. Alright, installing a new filter, I usually just get a little dab of oil, put it on my finger, rub it around the O-ring, like so. This type of filter I wouldn't pre-fill, because it sits like this. What you're going to do is spill oil out of there. Now if it sat like that, yeah, I'd probably pre-fill it, why not, it doesn't hurt nothing, but in this case, no need to. Now my best advice for putting these on is hand tight only, and I would make sure to use a rag over your hand as you're tightening it. Helps out. Hand won't slip. I would not use any oil wrench or anything to tighten this up. You don't want to over tighten it. You're going to have a very hard time getting it off next time. when you're doing an oil change, so just keep that in mind. Alright guys, I'm just going to spin that on as far as it can go. Alright. Then I'm going to get my rag over my hand and tighten it as much as I can. Hand tight. That should be good. And that's it. Don't want to over tighten them. And guys, don't forget, make sure you print out your receipt for the oil and filter. Write down your mileage on there when you changed it. Even take a picture of the odometer. Better safe than sorry. Like I said, if anything happens to your motor, you don't want Ford giving you a hard time replacing something. Now, I know most people will just go to the dealer and get their oil changed, but I don't trust anyone really working on my vehicle, especially something that I can do that's simple. Alright, I'd say we're pretty good. Oil's drained almost all the way. You could probably stay here and let it drip forever, but I'm not. So I only made this hand tight, and then I'm just going to twist it out with my rag. Alright, I got my key out. Make sure to keep that in a safe place if you do have this style drain plug, which I actually would highly recommend because this was a lot easier than last time. I'm just going to put the cap back on. Probably can just do hand tight. I might give it a tiny little snug with channel locks, and that's about it. Probably want to make sure you clean the oil off the sway bar too, under the truck. You don't want any oil getting on your driveway. Alright guys, and when you're filling this back up, you want to put 8.8 quarts of oil back in there. I'll probably do 9. I know these motors, they use a little bit of oil, which ain't a big deal, and just keep an eye on the oil level. I got a real long oil filter that comes in handy for pouring oil. It's just, this hole's not very big, so some of them don't fit in there. Alright, so I'm all done filling up the oil. Shake that off so it doesn't drip. Put my cap back on. Make sure that's tight. I would recommend checking the oil after you fire it up. You can check it beforehand, but just remember that it's going to show more on the stick that's actually there. So after you fire it up and the oil goes all the way up into the valves and all that, you'll get a more accurate reading. And the dipstick tube on the 5 liters on the opposite side is right here. Alright, and then I'm going to reset the oil life monitor, which is over all the way in the settings. Yep, and then advanced settings. And I believe it's under vehicle. Yep, oil life reset. We're going to hold OK to reset that. Back at 100%. I don't go off of that anyway, to be honest with you. I change my oil every 3,000 miles on all my vehicles just because it makes me feel better. Alright, then we'll fire it up. Sure we're all good. Run for a couple seconds. Turn it off, check my oil level, and that's it.